Hello, it's Karen Burniston here with an assembly video for one of our die sets. This is die number 1104, the triple flip, and you can check out all of our die designs at karenburniston.com. The triple flip is a very generic die where you pull the tab and all three of the little rectangles flip over at the same time. To demonstrate the assembly, I'll be making this birthday themed card today. The rectangles are really the perfect size to show off any of our animals or charm sets. You always choose your card size with our dies. Now the triple flip is designed for a 5.5-inch wide card. So that could be a postcard A2, or it could be a top fold A2, or it could be a side fold A2. As long as your dimension is 5.5 inches on the width, then you could even do a 5.5-inch square card, make that either top fold or side fold. For my sample card in the video, I am going to make a side fold A2 card. So I started with a piece of cardstock 11 inches wide by 4.25 tall, scored in the middle for folding. The triple flip die set includes 12 individual dies, and I'll need 3 of them to make the flipping feature. For the biggest piece, I like to use patterned paper, and you can use any die cutting machine that can accommodate a wafer thin die, and today I am using my Spellbinders Platinum 6. This cover piece is 5.5 inches wide, so it's going to perfectly fit the width of the card. And that can go anywhere on the front of the card. I'm just going to pretty much center it today. And once I've decided where I would eventually like that to end up, then there's another die in the set that is a semicircle, and that can be used to cut down through the card so that it has that same semicircle cutout on the card. That will make it much easier to use the actual pull tab. So I overlap it off of the edge just a little bit so that I know it'll cut all the way to the end. And then I just keep my card folded as I roll that through the machine so that I'm actually cutting through both layers. And then now I have that semicircle cut out right down through the card. The dies to make the pull tab and the flippers, both of those dies should be cut out of cardstock. And I would go with a medium or heavy cardstock for these pieces. A long pull tab piece, if you will leave the paper in the die, you can use a pen to go down through the stencil feature and add the 2 lines to the piece. What those are is they will really help you when placing your flippers so that you can make sure you get good placement and that they're nice and straight. The other die has cut 3 identical flippers, and they've been scored in 2 locations. There's a tapered tab at the bottom, and then the upper rectangle folds in the same direction as the tapered tab, but it actually glues down, so it's a reinforcer. That's to make sure that those flippers stay very, very strong and they don't develop any extra folds. You can use any strong tape or glue. I'm using my LINECO neutral pH adhesive in my fine tip bottle, and we do sell both of those items on our website. Now I'm going to fold over that reinforcer and just press it down until it sets up. Okay, so that's my finished little flipper, and I need 2 more of those, so I'm going to speed up the footage here and do that really fast, folding the tapered tab in, folding in the reinforcer, and gluing it down. And then the last one, same thing. Fold up the tapered tab, fold in the reinforcer, glue it down. Okay, it is the tapered tabs that get glued onto that long piece. So I would want the adhesive underneath the tapered tab, and then what I want to do is just get the fold of the flipper right on one of my pen marks, and just taking my time so that the fold is right on the pen mark, and then I can use the side of the long piece to make sure that the flipper is nice and straight. Because what I would really like to have happen is when it flips the other way, it also is nice and straight. So you can kind of take your time with that and make sure that it looks like it's flipping over very straight. Okay, now I'm going to repeat that exact same thing with another flipper and the next line. So the adhesive goes underneath the tapered tab, then I just make sure that the fold line is right on my pen mark, and then I press that down and just look if the edge of the flipper is right along the edge of the long piece. And then before my glue is completely set up, I flip it the other way and make sure that it also looks straight. So I can still adjust that. That's why glue is such a good choice for this. Okay, I have 2 flippers installed, and then the final one is going to go out on the end of that piece. So again, the adhesive underneath the tapered tab, and this time I want the fold line right on the end of the piece. And I'll do the same thing where I can just use both edges to just make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, now all of the flippers are attached to the long piece, and so I can start folding in those reinforcing panels on the long piece. So they've been scored already. I just need to fold them over, and you'll see they'll just go in between the flippers, and then when I glue those down, they will reinforce that piece so it's nice and strong. Now on the arrow, if you would like to add something in between the layers, like some washi tape, that will add some instant color to the arrow. And another option would be just to die cut that arrow portion of the piece out of a different color and then inlay it into the opening. So whichever way you prefer. But the adhesive should go on the side with the arrow hole so that you can avoid the arrow with adhesive, and then just fold that over and press it down real well. Same thing with the other two reinforcing panels. Okay, so now what I have is a lovely pull tab with 3 attached flippers, and it's nice and strong. The flippers are going to go through the slots on that cover piece, so to make them fit, I need to fold in the wings at the outer ends of the flippers. And I usually fold those towards the reinforcing panel. So in other words, towards the arrow is how I usually fold those in. And then now what I want to do is from underneath the cover piece, I want to slide each one of those flippers through a slot. So that means holding down those wings so that it will get skinny enough that you can get it through the slot. So that takes a little bit of wiggling, but then once you get it started, you should be able to pull it through, and when it stops, you just unfold the 2 wings. So really, really easy assembly on the triple flip. You just have to wiggle it through, unfold the wings, and then do that for all 3 of those slots. And then once all 3 flippers are through and the wings are unfolded, then you can see how this is going to work. As you pull the tab, that will make the flippers flip. But they have to be able to lift up to flip over. So as you attach this to the front of the card, you would only use tape along the very top and the very bottom. And my suggestion would be to put sort of a natural little mountain in it, like in other words, just build in a little bit of space in there to make it easier to pull the tab and flip them over. And if you don't want to try to work that little bit of give into the piece, you can just use foam tape. So just put a thin strip of foam tape across the top of the piece. So this is only going to get attached at the very top and the very bottom of the cover plate. So I used a thin piece of foam tape across the top, and then I just, whatever width on the bottom is fine because there's just more room down there. Okay, so then I just peel up the liner on those 2 pieces of foam tape and then line it up with my opening and press it onto the front of the card. So the foam tape is optional. You can definitely do it without, but I do like it because it sort of naturally provides that give that it needs to be able to lift up and flip over. There are 2 identical rectangle dies in the set so that you can get to 6 much faster. You can also cut through 2 layers at once if you go with a lighter weight pattern paper for your flipping rectangles. That's a good idea because you're doubling them up anyway. So I am coating the back of one of the rectangles with adhesive, and I'm not sparing it because I want to shellac it to the one on top. So I'm going to slide this underneath my right flipper. Now I can choose the location, so I could stagger these rectangles. I could put it closer to the top, closer to the bottom. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to press that little flipper down into the glue, add some glue on top, and then put another rectangle over the top and sandwich them together, just lining them up so that they perfectly match. And then to see if it's working, I need to pull the tab. So I never get to flip these things over manually. I have to use the tab so that all 3 will flip at the same time. Okay, speeding things up to get the next one on, I'm doing the exact same thing, using the first one as my guide so that I can get it in a straight line. Now you have to just kind of embrace that when it flips over, they might not be perfectly in a straight line on the back side, but they're going to be close. It's really a very impressive pop-up, but there's a little bit of play in the slot, so they might not flip over and maintain that exact perfect straight line, but it's still going to be very impressive. The only way to mess this up would be to try and pull a single piece over to the other side. You can't do it. You have to use the pull tab to flip them all over at the same time. You have to be in the habit of doing that. Otherwise, you could put an extra fold and then it's not going to flip anymore. Okay, you could make this a vertical. You can see how generic this is. This really has no theme whatsoever. The die set comes with some great generic rectangle dies to use to decorate. So there's a dotted scalloped rectangle. There's a postage stamp rectangle. I found this stamp in my stash that I liked. It said peace, love, and cupcakes, so I cut that out with the postage stamp die. Now, anywhere that you have the opportunity to eliminate a layer, I would do it since you have a lot of bulk in this card. So in other words, nest the two together and make frames because you can still just cut the smaller rectangle out of another color and inlay it into the opening. I've cut and assembled a piggy from our chicken, pig, and lamb die set and then had him holding a cupcake from our birthday charms set. And those dies have their own assembly videos if you need them. And then since I cut a frame, I'm actually able to tuck part of the pig behind the frame. So then I'll just glue down his tail and his ear, and then back behind the pig, I can back that with that small rectangle that I've cut out of white. And then once the whole piece is together, I coat everything with adhesive and then add it to my triple flip. Now, as you decorate the fronts of the rectangles, you just want to make sure that you don't have any embellishments that cross over the left edge, because those are technically folds. If you flip it over, if you had, say, a pig ear extending over the edge of that rectangle, then it would get folded as the card flipped open. Now, items that extend across the top, that's no problem. You'll just see them on the back when you flip it open. Okay, so I added my stamped greeting in the center, added a little heart from the set, and then a cupcake in a frame in the final rectangle. And then I assembled two more pigs and dressed them up a little bit using tiny accessories too. So my superhero pig, as well as my pig who likes to eat cupcakes with a fork, they both ended up inside the triple flip. And you see that you have a fourth location when the card flips open because you can actually decorate to the right of the triple flip. Now, to make it easy on you, since you do have 7 panels to decorate, you can take advantage of these little decorator dies in the set and just fill in a panel really quickly. So there's a little stitched pattern, it creates a stitched heart, and then in between the stitch lines you can actually add the die cut heart. Okay, the last decorator die in the set is the fishtail banner, and all of these decorator dies are so generic you're going to use them on a lot more than just the triple flip card. And our word sets work perfectly with that fishtail banner. Another great add-on to the triple flip would be either of our border blends sets. So I'm using Border Blends Party and just creating some borders to kind of embellish the front of my card. And all of the borders are 5.5 inches wide, so they're going to fit this card just perfectly. Okay, I finished up my card, and it's a fun one. It's just fun to pull that tab and watch those things flip over. I have lots of ideas for other techniques we can do with this die, so I'm looking forward to even more videos with it. One easy modification is just to stagger the rectangles, so that kind of gives it a completely different look. And this one is a postcard style card. The design team has been having a lot of fun with the triple flip, so let me end with some of their ideas. Fran Sabad shows how well our charm sets fit the triple flip. Okay, photos work awesome on the triple flip, so Karen Aiken made this one for her grandson turning 7. Kelly Booth mixed our new happy hour charms with the beach charms for this cheers card. Sandy Diller grabbed a lot of decorator pieces out of other pop-up sets to make this great birthday card. Karen Aiken celebrated Canada Day with this great triple flip, and I like how she broke up the word cheers so that it goes across the inside rectangles. Karen Aiken also made this staggered seaside version using stamps. Karen also enjoys using pre-made embellishments sometimes on the pop-ups, and this is a great succulents version. If you are a stamper, the triple flip is the perfect die for you because it's going to showcase your stamps really nicely. Here's a card by Frances Byrne, and then another one by Frances where she made it into a lipstick theme. Such great papers, too. Kelly Booth shows off her masterful coloring with some stamps on this triple flip happy birthday card. And then another one by Kelly with some stamps, and this time it's Hello Friend. How great is the triple flip for Christmas cards? Lois Bach shows here how you can also ask a question on the front of the triple flip and then reveal the answer when you flip it open. And Lois has been very busy with her stamps in the triple flip, and so she did another Christmas card here with some cute little reindeer stamps. Here's one using pandas. I like how this Harry Potter themed one mixes our Celebrate and our border blends in with those stamps. The final idea by Lois is to make a rainbow unicorn happy birthday card. The triple flip die set will be available on our website as well as a lot of your favorite online and local retailers starting mid-July 2019. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBurniston.com where you can find out information about purchasing these dies as well as links to all my other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.